The BBC always does a fantastic job of bringing the classic Doctor Who adventures onto DVD, and this month's batch of releases is no different. We have 2 Doctor Who releases this month that are Dalek themed, which is always something I'm interested to see, as I think they're among the most interesting creations from the Doctor Who universe. The first release is a 2-disc set called Doctor Who Dalek War, and it is stories number 67 and 68 from back in the early 70s featuring Jon Pertwee, who in my opinion was one of the better Doctors. Then we have the Remembrance of the Daleks special edition featuring Sylvester McCoy. Now, McCoy is not one of my favorite Doctors. Even though his tenure was about as short-lived as Colin Baker's, I find that he's about one of the most underrepresented Doctors so far on DVD. Clearly, Jon Pertwee and Tom Baker have been seen much more action on DVD than Sylvester McCoy, and for the most part I can understand that. I think he's really more for the diehard fans rather than just a Doctor that everybody can love and embrace. Still, what you have here are 2 pretty exciting stories about the Daleks. Now, the Dalek War starts off with Frontier in space and then goes into Planet of the Daleks, and Frontier in space sort of leads into the story. It's not all Dalek all the time like Planet of the Daleks is. What's interesting, though, is according to the BBC, since the mid-70s, one of the episodes of Planet of the Daleks has only been available as a 16mm black and white recording, but for this DVD release, they've returned it to full color. Now, the BBC has done some really great stuff with things like this, including turning some episodes of the really early Doctor Who seasons into animated adventures when all that was available was audio portions of them. And this is the type of thing that they do. They restore Doctor Who to its former greatness so that all the Doctor Who fans out there can really get the best bang for their buck. Where these discs really shine, though, of course, is the extra features, which is something that nobody can touch the BBC when it comes to Doctor Who on. So, for Dalek War, this multi-disc box set, what you get is a huge collection of extra features. I'll give them to you in order. You get an audio commentary with a couple of the actors, although of course not Jon Pertwee, and the producer and script editor of the show. There are a number of making-of featurettes, including the Space War, the Rumble in the Jungle, Perfect Scenario, Lost Frontier, and The End of Dreams. You also get a profile of Roger Delago, the Master. There's a multicolorization feature on how they fixed up that Planet of the Daleks episode. There's a featurette on Jon Pertwee called Stripped for Action, The Third Doctor, a featurette on the Daleks called simply The Daleks, and some stuff from Blue Peter, as well as the usual photo galleries, Easter eggs, and PDF materials, including production design drawings. So that's a pretty cool collection of extra features. Now, even though Remembrance of the Daleks is just a single disc release, or at least a single case, it's a single disc as well, you also get a ridiculously huge number of extra features, including audio commentary with Sylvester McCoy and his co-host Sophie Aldred, a back-to-school special, which is a half-hour making-of documentary, pretty much interviewing everybody involved with the show, a Remembrances featurette, which is a retrospective featurette with the cast and crew, a collection of extended and deleted scenes, there's a collection of outtakes and multi-angle sequences, an isolated music option, a brand new Dolby 5.1 surround mix, trailers, production notes, photo galleries, and radio times listings, as well as a 45-minute featurette called Davros Connections, which is an in-depth look at the history of the Daleks creator. So this is a nice documentary, especially for anybody out there who's a Dalek fan, much like I am. So these are 2 solid releases. Again, I would have to say that the Jon Pertwee selection is better than the Sylvester McCoy selection, just because I like him better as the Doctor. But frankly, they're both very interesting entries, and of course, the Sylvester McCoy years, being a little more recent, hold up a little better in terms of their special effects, although they always have that lovably cheesy BBC look to them that we all know and love. So fans out there of the current Doctor Who show who want to go back and revisit the classic show, this is a great way to do it, as these really are features-packed adventures with some really seminal moments involving, of course, Doctor Who's greatest foes, the Daleks.